So callback rate's going to show you your hidden waste, your hidden labor waste, and something that isn't going to appear on your P&L. And so every callback is going to still, technician time, scheduling flexibility, and also customer trust, and can lead to bad reviews, even if your revenue is looking okay. So tracking this is going to help you recover time and then also margin without having to sell extra jobs. Okay, so what we want to do is I'm going to show you how to create this chart with a band of a target range, and then also break it down with a threshold, say 15%, 10%. So it'll be a dynamic threshold. And so the first one we're going to break out by month, and then the second one we're going to break out by the issue, and then also the tech. Okay, so what we need to do is looking in this data set here, and this could be an export from like Service Titan, whatever software you're using, or you could just recreate this. And if you have the data but it's not structured correctly, just let me know. Also, if you want this data set, it will be there's a download link in the description. Okay, so what we have is we have the service date, and then way over here off to the right, we're gonna have a callback flag. And so the callback flag is here, and then we have a job ID. So essentially what we need to do is how many of these are yes within 30 days. So we have a callback window, and then we need to do that by month to create this. So let's get started here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in the word month, and then January, and just drag this down. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this, but we want callback rate, and then a target range. So let's calculate the callback. And so what we want to do is we want to count how many times that column has Y, and then how many times that other column is January, and then also on completed jobs. So we need the COUNTIFS function. So let's just get started by the callback visit flag. So comma, and then we want a Y. So yes, it was a callback. And then the next thing we want over here is for the month, we want the month here, comma, and then also to get the month you need to use the text function, and I'll show you how to do that. And then the final thing we want, two more things actually, is we want this to be less than or equal to and 30 days. And then finally we want it only on completed jobs. And then whenever you type in the word completed, it's not case sensitive. Okay, and so we get 10 here. I'm going to center that. And real quick, I'll show you because I forgot to show you. But if you want to get the month, the word January from a date, use the text function equals text, go to service date, comma, and then 4 M's. And then you can see now you have the month January. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get a callback rate. And so what we're going to do is we're going to count the same thing, but with no. And so what I mean by that is like, there's only two options, right? With the callback, yes or no. So we want to get in the numerator the yeses, and then in the denominator the yes and the no's combined to get like the total. And so what we can do is we want to do this exact formula here, and then this is going to be, instead of a yes, we're going to do a no. You just make sure, see what's going on here. And we're getting 0 because only the yes column, only where there's a yes does it have a date range, so we don't want the date range here. And then we need to add this number back in, right? We need this to be 95. So we're going to do C3 plus, and now we got 95. Now we can do 10 divided by this. So it's going to be C3 divided by, and then you need your brackets here to get a percent. And now we have a percent. So if you just highlight these and press Control Shift and the number 5, you can get the percentage. Or you can just click up here to get the percentage. That's fine. Okay, so the target range we have set, 5 to 8. I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'm going to copy these two, and I'll show you why. So paste this, but this equals the one above it. And then just double click this down. That way, if you want to have a dynamic range, you can. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is create the chart, and all we want to do is we want to have the line chart to be the callback rate, the actual line, the blue line, and then the orange lines to be the bands. And I'll show you a quick way to do this. So just copy this, and then hold down Control and copy the other ones, go to Insert, and then Recommended Charts, and you can see it right here. It's number 1. It's the first one. If not, go to All Charts, Combo, and then just make every one of these a line. And it does the same thing. Okay. I'm going to do this, and then we'll do, say, well, it's not letting me select this. So we'll do callback rate by month. And then let's just change the way this looks. So double click here, and then you'll see this come up. Let's just make it the second dash type, and we're going to make it a little bit thinner. And then for the green one, the same thing. So just click the green line, sort of the second dash type, and then I don't know how thin this was, and then also change it to orange. You see this is 1.5, this is 1.5, perfect. And then to get the values, click on the blue line, and then click the little crosshair up here, and then data labels. And now you have the data labels. Okay, so that's how to do the first one. So now what we need to do is we need to do the same thing, but we want to do it by the issue category, and then also the tech name. So we're going to need to get the tech name. So we have system type here, and then we're going to need to get the tech name from column J, but we want a unique list. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the unique function. So equals, I'll just do it right here, equals unique data. And then if you click on cell J1 and press Control Shift and the down arrow, then you'll highlight that range, and then press enter. And then you can see the list of people here. And then I'm going to, again, press Control Shift down, copy, and then Control Shift and V as in Victor to remove the values, or to remove the formula, because we don't want the formula in there. And then we're going to do the same thing for, yeah, right here for the system type. So again, Control Shift down, enter, and then we have it here, Control C, Control Shift V, and I'm going to delete this. And now I'll show you a little trick. What we need is we need the names sort of up here, right? But instead of dragging, I'll show you an easier way. But first off, I'm going to sort this by like this. We can do the same here, just so it's alphabetical. Just highlight the range and then go to data and then hit A and Z. So highlight this, Control C, and then right click in cell C19 and then press ST. And you're going to paste special as transpose value. So it's going to take it from a column and put it into rows across. Okay, and then let's center. So now we want the same formula that we had before, right? It's just instead of doing it by month, we want it by, Boiler and Alex Rodriguez. So just to get this first value, because then we need to do the percentage, because in the end we want the percentage here, and it's sort of a long formula. So COUNTIFS, so the first thing we want is where are we? Right here. So is this Y? Is the callback visit flag Y? So comma Y. And then we want way over here, technician name, comma, and then just it's cell B20, comma, and then we want, where are you? I think it's over here. Yeah, the boiler type or the system type, comma, boiler. And then the one more thing that we need, and I should have done it before, is we need to make sure the callback range is within 30 days. But I'm not going to do that here because the maximum with this is 30. So we really don't need to do that because it's still going to include everything. But if you wanted to put a date range on it, then you could do it that way. Okay, so here we have 1. But now what we need to do, if you remember, we need to divide it by the nose as well. And so from here, we're going to, what I'll do is I'll highlight this, and then I'll do divided by open parentheses, or open, your parentheses, and then paste, and then plus, and then paste again. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to change one of the Y's to a no, to an N, just so we can have all of that. And now we want to drag this over, but we're going to get an error. And the reason is because if you look at the column names, like AD turns into AE. So we need to lock this to, and also boiler turns to furnace, which we do want. But if you can see the little blue right here, what's happening is the name is changing to 0.2, and we don't want that. So anywhere you see just the column, not the blue or the red, but just the column, go in there and press the F4 key, or put a $sign before each letter. Well, like before AD, before AD, before J, before J. Let's go in and I'll do all that real quick. Okay, and then the next thing is wherever you see blue, we want to lock the column. So we want to, as we drag down, we want Alex to change to Anthony, but as we drag over, we don't want Alex to change to the value of the boiler. So you need to put a $sign before the letter. And this is called relative referencing. Where you lock both, like the columns, it's called absolute referencing. And then where you see the row, the red, put the $sign in the middle, and that's going to say, as we drag across, we do want that to change. But as we go from Alex Rodriguez to Anthony, we don't want boiler to come down one. And then again, press Control Shift and the number 5, and then copy, and then you can paste here. And the thing you're going to notice right off the bat is that there's some zeros. And so what we can do is we can put an if function in there and say, if this is 0, make it blank. Because once you do like a heat map, everything's going to, all the zeros are going to be red. And the reason it's 0 is because there were no jobs done. And so what we can do is we could do if, and then just highlight the whole thing. It looks harder than it really is. So if this equals 0, then blank. Otherwise, give me the formula. See if that works. Let's see, I messed up somewhere. Let me see where that is. So it looks like it's right here. Let me see if this works. For whatever reason, the formula didn't come through. The COUNTIFS function didn't come through. Yep, and so now you can see it's blank, and we can just paste this here. We can copy, press Control Shift right, Control Shift down, and then paste, and now we have blanks. And then let's just say we have a threshold of 10%. And so put 10%, you can put it right there, just wherever you want, and then highlight this range, go to conditional formatting, home conditional formatting, color scale, or highlight cell rules, and then we want greater than, and then this number. And then you can click OK, and then you'll see that the blanks are still being highlighted. So we have to do, again, we have to go back into conditional formatting, and then you can do new rule, and then you could say format only cells that contain blank, and then no format, okay, and go back into conditional formatting, manage rules, and then the top one you can see stop if true, apply. And now, so what's going to happen is it's going to stop doing the conditional formatting. And then here we want to just add the word threshold, so we can press Control 1, go to custom, and then before the percentage, type your quotations, type in the word threshold, you can use a colon, and then now you have your threshold. And I'll just make this a certain color, and then now you can see it automatically updates as you type in numbers. But anyways, that's all I got for this one. A little bit of a long video. If you have any questions, just email me, questions@databoards.io. And if you need some help structuring your data this way, to look like this, I mean, maybe not this in depth. I have multiple HVAC clients, and so I'm sort of familiar with how to do this stuff. But if you need some help with that, let me know. If you want the file, links in the description. If you want to hop on a call to talk about your data, also a link to hop on my calendar. But anyways, that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you in future videos.